It will not bring CJ back or take away the pain from all of those who loved him, but it stands as a clear statement that we will fight for those who can no longer speak and fight for themselves, and that our office, in partnership with the NOPD, will bring the full weight of justice to bear on any of those acting violently in this community. This case was led by our homicide unit chief, Matt Durbis, and Assistant District Attorney Corbin Bates on my right. This duo delivered a powerful and effective presentation of the evidence, causing a unanimous verdict. And while Matt cannot be with us today, I want to acknowledge his consistent and unrelenting leadership of this homicide unit. He demands excellence, and the rate of conviction shows it. Chief Durbis is currently attending a national conference this morning, sharpening his toolkit, exploring new techniques, and seeking ways to make our record-breaking homicide unit even stronger. So his absence today speaks volumes. It shows how his team thinks and operates, a team that is never satisfied, one that studies its wins, and one that is constantly searching for ways to be better, faster, and more impactful for serving the people of this community. When I was playing football at Tulane, we called it studying film, looking at what you did last week so you can do it better in the weeks to come. Our office has been especially proud to share the outstanding success rate of this homicide unit. This team keeps delivering wins for victims, for next of kin, measured not just by convictions, but by the restored peace and trust in the community. Many New Orleanians now know these prosecutors, these digital forensic experts, and our investigators, and our victim witness folks. They know them by names because they've stood with these families time and time again, and we've kept our promises to prioritize these cases, the ones that matter most, the ones where lives have been taken, to work hand in hand with our law enforcement partners to develop and deliver real results for the communities long plagued by violence and long ignored by the systems. The work of this office is being noticed nationally, but what matters more than recognition is what we're building, is what we're endeavoring to build, a durable, sustainable culture of excellence, a team of attorneys, investigators, victim advocates, trial assistants, and support staff who believe in their mission and who show up early every single day to be a part of the solution to make New Orleans not just safer than it was last year, but the safest city of its size in this country. To put it plainly, these folks care. They're striving for justice and fairness every day, and we're willing to do the work as often as it takes to get the results we need for this community. I want to personally thank my partner, NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, for her leadership and her collaboration, and to give special thanks to one of the best detectives she has on that homicide squad, Detective Robert Long, whose investigative work in this case was absolutely instrumental in building a strong case from the very beginning, a case that we would be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. This was textbook collaboration between enforcement and prosecution. It shows what we can do when we operate with precision, purpose, and strategic alignment. Now I'd like to bring to you a young man who was in law school when I took office, who has been delivering wins for victims, wins for families who've lost people. I believe this is Corbin's 27th trial, and he's been delivering real excellence for the people of this community. I want you to hear from him about his process in this particular case and see the face of someone who wakes up every day trying to figure out what he can do better for the people of the city of New Orleans. Corbin?
Thank you so much, boss.
Just on behalf of myself as well as Chief Durbis,
we would like to extend our thanks not only to our wonderful support staff, including our investigator, Liz Garcia, and our trial assistant, DJ, who were instrumental in this case, but also to the people of New Orleans. This particular crime that took CJ's life was a senseless act of violence that happened in the middle of the day, as CJ was getting off work and stopping to grab a cigar from a gas station. Not only were detectives led by Detective Long able to recover essential pieces of evidence, including surveillance cameras, casings from the scene, but a number of witnesses on scene were able to cooperate with the police. And later on, during our investigation and during our prosecution, while those same individuals expressed a great deal of fear and trepidation, many of them were still willing to come forward and cooperate and put their own lives on the line in order to hold account the person responsible for such a senseless act of violence. This is the type of case in which, while it may look simple from the outset, had a lot of moving parts and required an entire week of litigation and argument in front of a jury who took the burden of finding the killer in this case guilty very seriously. And it's something that we take with the utmost seriousness so that we can present these cases as effectively and as efficiently as possible to try and make sure that we can get justice, not only for the victims of those crimes, but their families and the communities that we all live in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Corbin. And thank you for the job you do every single day. And thank you to the people who hold Corbin and I up in court. The juries hear from the lawyers. They don't hear from the investigators. They don't hear from the digital forensics director. But these are the people that help us harden cases so we can prove them beyond a reasonable doubt. And this team behind me, DJ, Liz, Aaron, Michelle, you know, whether it's a basketball team, a football team, or a team in a prosecutor's office, you do work better by getting the best folks you can on the court. And that's what we were trying to do. So that's why as soon as Chief Woodfork was available, we got her over here to help us do the same thing she did when she was police chief, drive crime down, but using technology, using open source intelligence to prove cases, because that's what jurors are looking for. I want to thank Chief Washington for coming up with a 21st century standing operating procedure for our investigators to work at a 21st century level, because that's what it takes to deliver guilty verdicts unanimously across the street. These results with this homicide unit, these conviction rates, the solve rates by NOPD, the efficiency of the resolutions, the careful handling of these difficult cases, all of that is just too important to lose to turnover by some firm seeing Corbin and trying to take him to some civil practice where they'll pay him twice as much as I can. And that's why, you know, we're going to keep reaching out to the city council so that we can take care of these folks, so these folks, we don't lose them to the private sector. We cannot lose, we, the city of New Orleans, our public safety agencies, we cannot lose the strides we've made to turnover, to backsliding, to ego, to short-term thinking. So this is why we're trying to work a little bit more aspirationally than agencies have normally worked. This is bigger than a cult of personality, any one name, any one election, any one administration. We've built a model that works. We've developed standard operating procedures, trial strategies, support structures that we can apply to every single case, every single time to deliver success. Just like Leah Chase follows a recipe every single time so that gumbo is perfect. That's the same thing we're trying to do here. We're documenting, we're tracking, we're continuously refining those results from the early moments so that we can make sure that we're delivering successful prosecutions day in and day out. And we're actively sharing this roadmap with our partners at LSP, with the AG's office, with the NOPD. Anyone who wants to continue to build on the success and co-sign on a roadmap for a safer New Orleans. We've come too far to have a city that has had and fought for and clawed for the most dramatic reduction in violent crime and crime in all categories, It's not enough to say that we're no longer number one. It's not enough to say when we shift out of each of those categories. We want to get out of the top 10. We have a roadmap to do that. Then we want to get out of the top 20. We have a roadmap to do that. This is about executing that, and I can't be prouder of this team that I get to work with. We're building something that can last. One case at a time, one win at a time. And as far as I'm concerned, this office is just getting started. Keith?
We'll open up for on-topic questions. We'll start with Rob Masson, Fox 8.
Jason, how long was the jury out in this case?
Corbin.
For Mr. Corbin, and what might Coates, he hadn't been sentenced yet, right? What might his sentence look like?
So the jury deliberated for about 4.5 hours after receiving the case over the course of 5 days of testimony. The defendant was found guilty of second-degree murder, which carries a mandatory life sentence without parole.
Rob, anything else for Corbin? Anyone else?
That's fine.
Okay.
Anything from WSU, WGNO, WWL?
In closing, let me just say this. Leaders, and all these people behind me are leaders. Folks who have the responsibility of public service in this community. We have to be able to execute on basic things, and we have to be able to execute and endeavor to do aspirational things. These people behind me represent that, and this city will be better for it, and the country's paying attention. Thank you guys for showing up today.
Thank you, guys. Want me to open it for you?
You probably don't have. Y'all have a good morning, man.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
You saw the story?
I did.